Say thank you very much to everyone who has been with us this morning and this afternoon. My hope is that the day has served the purpose to be the reminder of why we are here and focus our minds to the sessions that we are holding between tomorrow and the day after, and remaining in the same focus of the energy transition. So I'm glad to see that we've had people here who have been brave enough to ask questions. As I said, and as was presented to us, it's very clear. We need to put infrastructure in place. We need to build trust with our customers. They will not get into LPG space. If they don't trust, they will be safe. We will need to invest. We have our partners with us who are ready to invest with us. I mean, when you look at it, in totality, it's an entire scope that we need to look at, including, of course, government. And you have heard that nobody has ever made that step change in this space without governments. And when I say government, government comes in a lot of ways: regulations, enforcement. Government will put, let me not call them subsidies, because even our own president doesn't like the term subsidy when it comes to consumption. But when we are talking of subsidy in LPG, we are not talking consumption subsidy. It's production. Because when we talk of cylinders, a cylinder is not what we consume in LPG. It's what we use. It's a tool of trade. So it's part of the production. When we talk of all the taxes that have been put in place, when you look at it in a nutshell, they're actually not subsidizing consumption. They are leveraging on the production capacities to bring the cost down. Just like in agriculture, you put fertilizer to grow more product. In LPG, we have to make it affordable. We have to make it available and accessible to people. And that's what we need the government to help us with. For us as private investors, is we can see the renewed confidence in this market. We can see the need for it. And I think there is space for everybody. So if we collaborate and work within the framework of the law, the regulations, and make it easier for all of us by undergoing a self-regulation, then ultimately, we are going to see this transition moving faster, and we will have a story to tell, like we have told in other sectors that we've run together in this sector. So for me, I want to leave it there for today, but it's my opportunity now. I'm advised that our CS, Moses Courier, will not make it today. I think he just landed navigating traffic. I think he wants to address what we call people with energy, fresh. If he comes here today, I know a few of us will be asleep, others have stepped out, and his message is very key for this forum. So he will be here tomorrow morning to address us together with the KPC MD as well. You'll be here to address the session. For today, we have had pleasure to have with us Honorable Senator and our own peers speaking to us. And at this moment, you allow me, starting with the Senator, to ask them to give a parting shot as we head to the close of the session today.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Indeed, it was quite an experience, and I am quite delighted to be part of this conversation. We know moving forward that we have to move this country towards safer energy, greener energy, and by so doing, we must have a candid discussion of how we manage our downstream infrastructure, and that can only happen if we are all engaged in this conversation where we ask ourselves, what is it that needs to be done to ensure that we increase the investors' confidence while at the same time creating awareness and ensuring that we capture the market base, the remaining market base of over 86%. I am happy as the Share Energy that I've picked a few areas that we need to explore in terms of the operationalization of the regulations, and most importantly, trying to see the leakages that might be there in terms of the legislative legal framework. Thank you very much indeed. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Let me take this opportunity to invite the PS to make his closing remark. Karibu Bwana PS.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Chakula bado iko inaleta uzingizi, sio? I know we talked quite a lot this morning. We shared ideas, experiences. My parting shot is that, why are we discussing LPG now? Why not many years back? For those, most of you who have been in this industry, the fossil fuel industry, many years back, the discussion was just like what we are discussing on policy, on infrastructure, and everything. Because by that time, the developing countries and the others were able, to scoop out what God has given them, the underground. That's the petroleum. And today, the biggest, emitters of carbon is America, Canada, the Europe, China, India. Africa is about 4%, basically from Nigeria, Angola, and South Africa. In East Africa, I think we are just 1%. But the impact of the climate change is impacting on everybody. Whether you have, fuel or gas, then the degree is actually enormous. Even for East Africa, or even Kenya, which is emitting, less than 1%, when it rains, the rain is actually beyond. When the drought comes, it is overboard. And we get, a lot of impact, even though we are not emitting. And for that reason, then the global policy has to change. That if this is the impact we are not getting, for the fossil fuels, then what is the alternative? The alternative is now the LPG. For one, it is easier, it is greener, it can be reused. Because apart from the usage, it has economic sense, and also it has impact on the environment. Our environment has already been degraded because people are cutting trees for farming, for firewood, for charcoal. The ice we used to have even in Mount Kenya has disappeared. The weather pattern has changed completely. Even some of the very notorious diseases have actually emerged to fight us back because we have interfered, with the nature. At the same time, cutting trees for food, for whatever it is, then of course it has got health impact again. You get upper respiratory disease, you get bronchitis, you get itchy eyes, and the culprit of these are women and children who are providing, food for us in our homestead. At the same time also, our school age, like students in primary, in colleges, and universities, because of the health conditions, that one has got impact, on the educations. Some they miss their classes, others, they stay with chronic diseases. So for this reason, we need to change in the environment. because we have interfered with our nature. So nature has to come to hit us back. And for this reason, the best way to go is renewable energy. And from our discussion this morning, especially from Iran, the one I picked was about the cultural impact. For our case also, using, these gases and whatever, people say that, it's going to explode, it is going to kill us. So uptakes actually become a challenge. We are just with them. Then, for us, to move forward, must be visionary leadership. For our case, His Excellency the President has pronounced himself that LPG growth strategy, with those thematic areas I've mentioned, is the way forward. So we have the political will from the apex, including the ministry and also the departments. Then, what we talked this morning, all the speakers were talking about the power of collaboration. Absolutely, that is the key for each one of us. If there's no collaboration, we are not going anywhere. Collaboration from the top down to the last mile. And this one is enshrined, within the value chain. The value chain itself. So the value chain is, we have to encourage the domestic production. I talked this morning about, the KPC and the KPRL, and also the Lake Gas, the Argon. Tomorrow you have the opportunity maybe to visit. I visited all of them last week, 2 weeks ago. They have a very good infrastructure, but they are underutilized. Underutilized because there's no pickup, from the last mile. They have not penetrated, our community. Then we talk about the regional reports. All these players will be having. Then the distribution, and then how can we reach, the mass, the value chain of this. Nobody is left out. It's a big industry. It is enough for everybody. Enough for each one of us, unless you want to lag behind. So, as a ministry, we are going to create good policy, good regulations, good act, and also good environment for you to make your business. Because the government is not in business. The business is yours. What you need is good environment for you to conduct your business. But for you to conduct, your good business, there must be regulations and penalties. For the penalties, for those, scrupulous, people who don't follow the law and cause, havoc, to you, then the law will take its course. That is why we have the regulators, EPRA, we have NEMA, we have KEPS, we have Interior, we have DPP, we have DCI. All are the people, who can make you to create good environment for you. So mine is, if you borrow the example of Iran, they started way back in 1953. That's how many years? About 71 years ago. For our case, we are just very young. But we are on top, we are focused, we are visionary. What is there? Just challenges. Unless you have challenges, then you cannot move. Challenges is our driving force to be where we want to be. So the issue things like cross-refilling, the issue like you are just trading with somebody's product, I think the regulation is going to streamline that. So mine is just to encourage you, let us work together. Let us have that conversation, the power of collaborations, the policymakers, the regulators, the industry, and I'm sure in some few years to come, we'll be able, to shape and model the LPG industry the way, we have done, with the fuel. Otherwise, it's a learning session. We shall be having this conversation at various levels. And thank you, Manyara and the chairman, for bringing us together, and we will be working together, and we'll make sure that at least we shall strengthen our industry to make sure that Kenyans get the best of service we are offering. Thank you very much.
I gave my parting shot. I'm part of the sessions going forward. Unfortunately, I have something that will tie me tomorrow, and I'll be requesting somebody equal to stand in for me. You'll be informed as soon as that is done, but I want to wish you the best of the remaining sessions, and please, let's all work together towards the same goal and achieve that transition in a record time, because it's possible. Other than that, nothing much from me. I'll hand over to Wajiko to close the day for us.
Thank you very much, our Senator, our PS, our Chairman, and our Platinum sponsor, KCB, and you participants who have run the whole course today. A round of applause to yourselves. I do not want to repeat anything, but the lessons have been profound. I think every day is a learning opportunity, and that's why it's important for us to create these forums. We don't do it alone, even as an industry association. As you saw, we've collaborated. That is such a powerful outcome from this session. We've collaborated with the Global World Liquid Gas Association and others to learn, share experiences, and to move forward with the transition. So may I plead that you please keep time tomorrow, 9 o'clock. CS Moses Kuria has actually told me he will be bang on time. So please keep time, and let's give another round of applause to our distinguished panelists today. From morning, they've been sitting here. We really, really must thank you. We will try as much as possible and get back on stream. Mr. Amir Hassan from Iran, those lessons were profound. It was interesting to see how we mirror each other in terms of our transition. It's just that there's been consistency actually since 1938, because that company was a father-son business initially before it morphed into a larger enterprise in the 1950s. So enjoy the rest of your day. And for those who have joined us online as well, we look forward to meeting here again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Kenya time. Have a good evening.